Alright, Title 40 CFR Subpart D, Manufacturing and Remanufacturer Production Line Testing and Audit Programs. 1033-301, Applicability. Applicability. The requirements for the Department of the Manufacturer or Remanufacturer locomotive certified under the Department of the following exemption requirements for the 1033, 310, 315, 320, 330 apply only to manufacturers of freshly manufactured locomotives or locomotive engines, including those for repowering. May also apply over these requirements to the manufacturer of any locomotive for which the reason to believe the production problem exists that could affect the mission performance. Will make a determination of the production problems may exist and could affect the mission performance. We will notify the remanufacturer's requirement of 1033, 310, 315, 320, 330 will apply as specified in this notice. The requirements of 1033, 335 apply only to remanufacturers. C, as specified in 1033, 1D, we may apply with the requirements of the subpart manufacturer remanufacturers that do not certify locomotives. However, unless we specify otherwise, requirements for the subpart apply to manufacturer remanufacturer hold the certificates for the locomotives. General requirements 1033, 305. Manufacturer and remanufacturer, where applicable, are required to test production locomotive using testing procedures prescribed. Alright, B. Remanufacturers required to conduct audits according to the requirement of 1033, 35 to ensure that the remanufactured locomotives comply with the requirements of this part. If you certify the engine family with a carryover the mission data described in 1033 through 35 of these equivalent engine family consistently passed with the production line and testing requirements over preceding 2 years, you may have to produce the testing rate for the production line testing for the family. If you produce the testing rate, you may limit the approval to any number of the miles in. Determining whether to approve the request, you may consider the number of locomotives that have failed the emission test. D, you may ask is use an alternative program or measurement method for testing production line engines. In your request, you must show the alternate program, give the equal assurance that your engines meet the requirements of this part. You waive some of all or all the subpart requirements if we approve the alternate program. Alright, 1033, 310, sample selection for testing. At the start of each of the model year, at the beginning, randomly selected the locomotive for each engine family for production line test at the rate of 1% of the make selection for the test locomotive after it has been assembled before the testing through the entire model year to the extent possible. Unless we specify the different schedule for the year test, for example, we may require that the disproportionately select locomotives from the early part of the model year of the new locomotive model that has been subject to the PLT previously. 1. Required sample size engine family provided with no locomotive the test is failed with the applicable emission standard within 5 tests per mile a year, 1% of the projected annual production with a minimum sample size of the engine family of 1 test per model. See with the paragraph D with the section with the determine the required number of the test locomotives if any locomotives fail to comply with the standard. 2. They may elect to test additional locomotives. All additional locomotives must be tested according to the applicable test of the procedure for this part. B. You must assemble the test locomotive using the same production process. They'll be used for the locomotive to be introduced into commerce. You may also ask to allow the special assembly procedure for the catalyst equipment in the locomotive. C. Unless we approve you may not use the qualified control testing assembly procedure that you do not use during the production assembly of the locomotives of the family supplied with any test locomotive, any portion of the locomotive, including engine parts and sub-assemblies. D. If one or more of the locomotives fail production line tests, they must meet with the 2 additional locomotives of the next 15 produced in the engine family. For each locomotive that failed, the 2 additional locomotives do not count towards your minimum number of locomotives. For example, if you require to test a minimum of 4 locomotives under paragraph A of the section, the second locomotive fails to comply with 1 or more standards, then you must meet 2 additional locomotives for the next 15 produced in the engine family. If both locomotives pass all standards, you are required to test 2 additional locomotives to complete with the original minimum number of 4. If both pass, you're done in testing for the family for the year since you're tested 6 locomotives. 4 originally required plus 2 additional locomotives. Alright, test procedures, 1033-315, test procedures. Using test procedures described in Subpart F of this part of the acceptance, especially when the section may ask of the use of the test procedure to approve of the request if it determined if it is not possible to perform satisfactory testing with the specific procedures may also approve of the alternate terms procedures under 1033-305D. If you use the test procedure other than those in Subpart F of this part of the during certification for the engine family of the alternate test procedure necessary for the testing of the development of the engine or a low power engine instead of low mileage locomotive to use the same test and procedure for the production line testing if you use the certification. B. Modifying a test locomotive once the engine is selected for the testing, you must adjust or repair, maintain, modify, check for the emissions only if one of the following is true. Your document is needed for doing in all procedure for the assembling and inspection of all of the production engine to make the action routine for all engines in the engine family. 2. The subpart otherwise specifically allows your action. 3. We approve your action in advance. C. Adjusting parameters confirmed with adjustable parameters set value with a portion of which of the range recommended for the ultimate purchaser. 2. May require adjusted parameters to set any setting specified with adjustable range parameter prior to the performance of any test. D. Stabilizing emissions. You may stabilize the emission for the locomotive to be tested with accumulation by running the engine through a typical duty cycle of emission for the standard of after 300 hours of operation. Your accumulated view, however, with consistently good engineering judgment. You must establish green engine factor with the regulated pollutant for each engine family instead of the combination of accumulation and actual operation to be tested used in calculating emission test results. You must obtain our approval prior to use of the green engine factor for the catalyst equipped locomotive. They may operate locomotive up to 1,000 hours in revenue, others are prior to testing. E. Adjusting after shipment. And there's a locomotive that shipped to a facility other than production facility with a production line testing with adjusted as repair with the necessary because of the such shipment. You may perform necessary adjustment with the repair only after the initial test of the locomotive, unless we determine that the test would be impossible to perform or would permanently damage the locomotive. F. Malfunctions. If the locomotive cannot completely service the accumulation of the emission test because of the malfunction, you may require for the authorized either the repair of the locomotive or its deletion from test sequence. G. Retesting. If you determine that any production line emission test of the locomotive is invalid, you must retest according to the requirements of this part of the report. Emission results for all tests related to it and is included with the test result of determining that are invalid. You must also include a detailed explanation for the reason invalidity. Any test that is added in the quarterly report in 1033-320E. In the event that the retest is performed, you may ask within 10 days of the end of the production quarter for permission to substitute after repair test result of the original test results. We'll respond with a request within 10 days of our receipt of the request. Alright, 1033-320, calculation reporting test results. Calculated initial test result of the applicable test procedures and inspection 1033-315A. Include applicable non-deterioration and adjustments such as the green engine factor regeneration adjustment factor of the round with the results. One or more decimal places for the applicable emission standard. If they conduct multiple tests, any locomotive calculate find with the test result of the summing of the initial test result. Derived in paragraph A of the section, each of the test locomotive divided by the number of tests conducted on the locomotive, then rounding one or more decimal places with the applicable emission standard. For catalyst equipped with the locomotive, you may use allow you to exclude the initial failed test if all the following are true. 1. The catalyst is the green condition tested initially. 2. The locomotive meets all the emission standards with a retest of the de-greening of the catalyst. 3. No additional emission related maintenance of the repair was performed before initial failure of the test and subsequent passing the test. C. Calculate the final test result of the test locomotive applying appropriate deterioration factor for the drive of the certification process for the engine fan with the final test result of the rounding one or more decimal places than the applicable emission standard. D. If the subsequent initial failure of the production line with the average test result for the failed locomotive with the 2 additional locomotive tests engraved with the applicable emission standard of the family emission limits. For the engine family, the deemed is non-compliant with the applicable emission standard, they must notify us within 10 days of such non-compliance. E. Within 45 calendar days end of the quarter, you must send to the designated compliance officer of the report following an information, location, description, emission test facility when used to conduct your testing. 2. The production sample size to each engine family tested. 3. The applicable standard against which the engine family was tested. 4. For each test conducted and conclude all the following: a description of the test locomotive, including configuration, engine family, identification, year, make, and model, date, engine identification number, the number of the megawatt hours, if the miles if applicable, if service accumulated for the locomotive prior to testing, description, green engine factor for the how to determine how it was supplied to location and where service accumulation will conduct for the description accumulation, proceed with the schedule if applicable, if the locomotive is introduced, service between the assembly testing when only you are only required to summarize the service accumulation rather than identifying specific locations. 3. Test number, the date, test for the procedure, U for the initial test result, before and after rounding, final for the test result of the production line emission test conducted, whether the validity, invalidity, the reason, invalidation of any of the tests if applicable. 4. A complete description, adjustment, modification, repair, preparation, maintenance for the testing was performed on the test locomotive that has not been reported pursuant to any other paragraph of the subpart will not be performed on any other production model locomotives. 5. Any other information you may ask to add with the written report so we can determine whether the new engines conform with the requirements of this part. 5. For each failed locomotive defined in 1033.330A, description of the remedy and test result for all retests that are required in 1033 and 340G. Following signed statement and endorsement, authorized representative of the company, we submit the report under Section 208 and 213 of the Clean Air Act on production line testing, conform compliantly with the requirement of Title 40 CFR 1033. We have not changed the production process, quality control procedure of the test locomotives in a way that might affect emissions. Control information report is truly accurate with the best of my knowledge. I know of the penalties of violating Clean Air Act and the regulations. Authorized company representative. Alright, 1033.325, maintenance record submittal information. You must establish, maintain with the retained following the adequate organized index to the record. 1. Description of all of the equipment used for the test locomotive of the equipment requirements of subpart F of the part applied for the test performed under this part of the maintain these records for each of the test cell that can be used to perform emission testing under the subpart. 2. The individual record for each production line testing auditing include the date and the time and location of the test of the audit. 2. The measure for which the green engine factor was calculated, number of hours of service accumulated with the test locomotive of the test began, and end of the 3. The names of all supervisor personnel involved with the conduct of the production line test or audit. 4. Record description of any of the adjusting, repair, preparation, modification performed on the test locomotive to give it the date, associated time, justification, name, and the or authorization. Personnel names of all the supervisor personnel responsible for conducting the action. 5. If applicable, the day of the locomotive was shipped to the assembly plant associated with the storage facility with the port facility with the day of the locomotive of the receipt of the testing facility. 6. A complete record of all the emission tests of the audits performed under the subpart, except for the tests performed directed by us, including all individual worksheets and or other documentation relating in each test, or exact copies thereof according to records requirements specified on subpart F of this part of the Title 40 CFR 1065. 7. The brief description of the events during the test not otherwise described under this paragraph. 8. For the commencement of the test locomotive selection process includes such extraordinary events of the engine damage during shipment. B. Keep all records required for the maintenance of the subpart with a period of 8 years after the completion of all the testing, since or the records in format any of the media zone, as long as you can promptly provide to organize written records for the English as we ask them all of the information is pertained. C. Send it for the following information regarding the locomotive production if we ask for it. 1. The project production of each configuration and within each engine family for the certification have been requested or approved. 2. Number of the locomotives by configuration, assembly plant schedule for the production. D. With nothing in the selection section limited for the authority to require for the established, maintain, and keep submit to us the information that section specified with the section may also ask to send less information. E. Send all report submission notification requests with approval made under the subparts of the designated compliance officer to the approved format. F. Must keep a copy of all the reports submitted under this subpart. Alright, 1033.30. Compliance criteria for the production line testing. There are 2 types of potential failure of the individual locomotive to comply with the standard, with the failure for the engine family to comply with the standards. A. Failed locomotive is one of those whose final test result of the pursuant 1033.320C with one or more of the applicable pollutants exceed the applicable emission standards or family emission limits. B. Engine family is deemed in non-compliance purpose of the subpart if at any time through the model year the average of the initiated failed locomotive and the 2 additional locomotives tested greater than the applicable emission standards of the family emission limits. Alright, Title 40 CFR 1033-335, Remanufacturer Locomotive Installation Audit Requirements. This section specifies the requirements of the certifying remanufacturer audit. The remanufacturer of the locomotives cover the certificate conformity with the proper component settings, and component installation randomly chosen locomotive of the engine family. A, you must ensure that all the emission of the relay of the components properly installed on the locomotive and then set with the proper specification indicating in the instruction. In your instructions, you may submit with the audit performed with the owner and operator of the locomotive to provide audits with the performer in accordance with the provision of the section. You may require that the obtain affidavits for the audits performed by the owners and operators. B, the audit at least 5% of the annual production per year, model year per installer, with a 10 per engine family per installer. Whichever is left, they must perform them more audits if there are any of the families randomly selected the locomotives audited if they have the remanufacturer's complete. May also allow select locomotives prior to the completion of the remanufacturer. If the pre-selection, they won't know how would not have the potential of the effect of the ban with the locomotive of the remanufacturer, whether the installer is not aware of selection prior to the completion of the remanufacturer unless it's specifically otherwise. You're not required to audit installer for the remanufacturer from fewer than 10 locomotives per year under your certificate is combined for all your engine families. The audit should be completed as soon as the practice of the remanufacturer is complete. In no case will the remanufactured locomotive accumulate more than 45,000 miles prior to an audit. D, and the locomotive fails on emission related with the components found with improperly installed, with improperly adjusted, and incorrectly used. E, the remanufactured locomotive fails to audit. We must use the audit 2 additional locomotives from the next 10 remanufactured for the engine family by the installer. If the engine family is determined to be failed with the audit with any time during the model year, determining the 3 locomotives the audit found that have been improperly installed with improperly adjusted, incorrectly used the components, you must notify the use within 2 working days for the determination of engine family audit failure. G, within 45 calendar days at the end of each quarter, the remanufacturer must send the designated compliance officer report, which includes the following information: location, description, audit family, which utilize the conducting audit report pursuant to this section. 2, total production sample size of each engine family, the applicable standard or family emission limits against each engine family was audited. For each audit conducted, the description audited for locomotive include A, the configuration, engine family identification, B, the year, make, build date, remanufacture date, C, locomotive the engine identification numbers. 2, any other local information must be requested and relevant with the determination of new locomotives being remanufactured. In fact, conform the regulation with respect to the certificate conformity was issued. 5, for each locomotive defined in paragraph D of the section description of the remedy as required in 1033-340G. Following signed statement and endorsement by authorized representative. We submit the report under section 208 and 213 of the Clean Air Act on production line auditing conform complete with the requirement of Title 40 CFR Part 2 1033. We have not changed production process, quality control procedure for the audited locomotive in a way that might affect the mission control of all the information in this report. It is true and accurate to the best of my knowledge. I know of the penalties for violating the Clean Air Act for the regulation authorized company representative. Alright, Title 43, 1033-340, suspension and revocation certificate conformity. Certificate A, the certificate being suspended if the individual locomotive's fouls. Certificate conformity automatically suspended for any locomotive that failed for the production test pursuant to 1033-330A. Effective from the time testing of the locomotive is complete with the certificate conformity automatically suspended with any of the locomotive fails all with the pursuant 1033-335D. Effective from the time of the auditing of the locomotive is complete with the B. This certificate is suspended from any engine as follows. The 1, we may suspend certificate conformity engine family non-compliance pursuant to 1033-330B for 30 days after the engine family is deemed with the non-compliance. When you suspend certificate conformity engine family determined with the have of the failed audit with the 1033-335F, the suspension will not occur before 30 days after the engine family is deemed with non-compliance. See, if we suspend your certificate conformity for engine family, suspension may apply with the facility producing engine for the engine family, even if it is defined as non-compliant. Engines apply only in the facility. D, we may revoke certification conformity for any engine family in whole or in part. 1, you fail to comply with the requirements of the Subpart. 2, fail to false or incomplete information report information provided to us under the Subpart. 3, render inaccurate any test data submitted under the Subpart. And EPA enforcement officers to find the opportunity to conduct the activities Authorizing Subpart 5 of the EPA enforcement officer is unable to conduct authorized activities for any reason. E. We will notify by the writing of suspension, revocation, certificate, conformity in a whole and part. Suspension, revocation is effective upon receipt of the notification or 30 days from the time the locomotive of the engine family is deemed in non-compliance on 1030, 330, 20D, 330A, 330B, and 335F is made, whichever is easier earlier, except for the certificate is immediately suspended with respect to any failed locomotives provided in paragraph A of this section. If we may revoke certificate conformity engine family when the certificate has been suspended in paragraph B and C of the section remedy for the one of the requiring design change or change of the locomotive, the engine and or emission control systems as a description with the application for the certification effective for the engine family. G. Once the certificate has suspended the failed locomotive provided in paragraph A of the section, you must take all the following actions. The certificate reinstalled with the failed locomotive. 1. The remedy for the conformity. 2. The demonstrator of the locomotive conforms applicable to standard with the family emission limits provided with the retesting, re-auditing, and limiting F applicable locomotive in corner of this part. 3. Submit with a written report after successful completion of the testing or auditing and applicable on the failed locomotive contained with a description of remedy testing or auditing resulting for each locomotive. In addition, any other that may be required by this part. H. Once the certificate failed engine family has been suspended pursuant to the paragraph B or C, but the section must take with the following action will be considered to reinstate the certificate. 1. Submit the written report with identifying with the reason for the non-compliance for the locomotive, the description with the remedy included with the description and quality control measures to be used to prevent future occurrence for the problem, stating the date of the remedies will be implemented to the demonstrate with the engine family which certificate conformity have been suspended. So as the fact with the completely with the regulation of the part testing and auditing locomotives selected for the normal production runs for the engine family, such testing and auditing must comply with the provision of subparts if they elect will continue testing, auditing individual locomotives after the suspension certificate reinstalled for any locomotive actually determined to be in conformance with the applicable standards for a family emission limit through the testing, auditing, and in accordance with the applicable test procedures, provided that we have not revoked our certificate under paragraph F of this section. Alright, if the certificate has been revoked for the engine family, for an engine family, you must take with the following action with the issue of the certificate would allow you to continue introductions into the commerce of modifying the version of the family. 1. We determine the change of the locomotive design may have an effective deterioration notified within 5 working days after the receipt of the report. Paragraph H of the selection with subsequent testing and auditing under this part with the observation to the value of the change with whether additional testing or auditing will be required. 2. After the implementation change with the intent with the remedy non-conformity method demonstrated with the modified engine in fact have conformed with the regulation of this part with the testing locomotive, the auditing, remanufacturing locomotive selected with the normal production runs on the end of that engine family with both requirements are met with a reissue the certificate or issue the new certificate if subsequent testing with the auditing reveals failing data for the revocation remains in effect. J. At the time subsequent initial suspension of the certificate in conformity to test or audit locomotive of the pursuant paragraph A of the section made no later than 30 days after the start of the period has been filed with the after the notification of the decision to suspend and revoke the certificate in conformity in whole or in part pursuant to the section may request the hearing that whoever the test however they have been properly conducted or any sample methods have been properly applied. Okay, any suspension certificate conformity under paragraphs A through D of this section will be made only after you have been offered the opportunity hearing conducted in accordance with 1033-920 will not apply with the locomotive no longer in possession. L. If you suspend, revoke, or void the certificate in conformity, you may believe that our decision was based on errors information. You may ask to reconsider the decision, request a hearing. If you demonstrate the satisfaction of the decision based on erosion information, erroneous information, we will reinstate the certificate. M. We may conduct reinstate the certificate the family so that you don't have to store the new test locomotive to conduct a subsequent test auditing non-compliant family subject to the following condition. You must commit to recall all locomotives of the family produced from the time of the certificate is conditionally retested if the family fails subsequent testing or auditing. If applicable, must comply with the remedy any non-conformity at no expense to the owner. Alright, that was Title 40, CFR Subpart D, Manufacturer, Remanufacturer Production Line Testing Auditing Programs.